Okay, so there was a comment on my chainmail video asking if I could make a separate video on how to build my little jig that I have for my chainmail. So I thought I'd make the video. The design was just kind of thrown together. I just threw this together with scraps I had in my garage, and I do woodworking as a hobby, so I just kind of use my tools and cut it up. But just do the basic run over so you can modify this design to whatever you want. But this is the generalized concept. So what I did is I just made a base that, for this particular one, it's 15 inches by 16 inches. It doesn't really matter. Just the main concept of it is to get the rod and the spool in front of each other so that you can put the wire into a drilled hole on this is just steel rod. You can buy everything you need for this at like Home Depot and Lowe's. So what I did is built the base first with a piece of scrap, and then I got a couple of 2x4 pieces. It's 15 1/4 2x4 piece, and I just screwed it down directly to the base, and then I just supported these vertical supports with some corner braces, and it's just basic construction. This vertical piece is just about 5 inches tall on each side. That doesn't really matter either. So it's really pretty much just whatever you can put together and make it work. I drilled a hole on both ends. This end, it only goes in halfway. This way is all the way through. So that way this can sit right in there. It goes in about an inch. Yeah, right about an inch. So what you do is you drill through here halfway, drill all the way through here. The holes are 3.5 inches up, and that angle isn't really particular either. It's just enough of an angle that so you can get the coil to spin to go into that direction. And you want the coil, I tried it many different ways. You want the spool to go over. So you put it through over, and it comes in from behind when you're coiling up. Because I tried it the other direction and it just kept binding. So put the coil behind and then have it come in forward over the top, not from underneath. And then all I did was just I played with the angles and just whatever worked. Just kind of trial and error. From the rod back to the spool is 8 inches. And then this piece, I just cut a base for it that's 6.5 by, this is not really relevant, 9. You just need something to support the posts, which I screwed into the sides of this. And those posts are about 6 inches tall, and they're just a 1x4. And then what I did is I just put a dowel through the center of the spool, and that comes off with a cotter pin. So when you need to change the spool out, you just pull out the dowel, and you can put your spool down. You've got a cotter pin on this end that I fold it over so that it keeps it in place. So one side comes out, and you can just put this through here, and then just put the cotter pin back in, and that keeps it from falling out and allows it to freely spin in these holes. Yeah, 3/4 inch dowel. And this is the spool at Home Depot. It's a 1/4 mile spool. And I just did measurements to make it to see if the height for this to go up. And then I just needed a way to carry it, so I just found some handles laying around and just put them onto the base to make it easier to carry around so you can move it. And you can do two designs. I started out with a drill design where the rod was straight, and then just put the end of the drill and put the chuck over it like that on it so that it spins. But for my purposes, I wanted it to be able to be put anywhere and not have to wonder about having a drill. I know you could use a cordless drill, but it just made more sense for me, and it's easier to control by hand so that the drill itself doesn't overspin and then all of a sudden your coil is all messed up. So I just decided to do hand crank because for my purpose it works just fine. And I just put my hand here and I can coil it. So for that design, I just measured across here, and it's 12 inches across. And I just measured there, out here, gave it an extra inch or so for the turn. And then I took it and put it in my vise. I have a benchtop vise. And I just stuck this in there and bent it to this 90-degree angle. And then bent it again to another 90-degree angle a couple inches down to give it that crank. And then this is just a plastic handle that I found laying around. So I just drilled a hole through it so it could go all the way on, and then just kind of jerry-rigged a pipe clamp onto it just to keep it from falling off. And it works great. I've been using it like that the whole time. So that's it, really. It's not a really complex design. It's very simple and really easy to build. And I did it maybe within an afternoon. It doesn't really take that long, a couple hours. Most of the time that I spent was really on designing it and trial and error. So hopefully that answers the questions, if any of you had them. I'm excited that there's people that are interested in the chainmail video, because I didn't even expect anything to come from it. It's got like almost 3,000 views now. It's kind of cool. So that's all it is. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully this helped.